All right, a beautiful afternoon to you right there. We're reaching you live from our Benin Network Center. It's Business This Week, where we take a look into critical economic activities shaping our world of today. I am Lawrence Usifo, your anchor, and it's a great delight to have you join me this beautiful Friday afternoon. We're reaching you from our Benin Network Center, South Nigeria. Now, on today's edition of the show, we will be taking a drive to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Now, within the week, there was actually news emanating from that ministry. The ministry that was created under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. But when the administration of President Tinubu came on board, it was changed to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, stating that the poverty in today's Nigeria was actually too much. So the ministry was created to alleviate poverty. But unfortunately, it seemed like the ministry that is created to alleviate poverty is now being enriching some persons in the ministry. Now, the minister, BETTA Edu, was actually suspended recently by the president as she was linked to the sum of 585 million naira, which was set aside to be disbursed for poverty alleviation in Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Lagos, and Ogun State. The money was said to be diverted to a personal account of a staff in the ministry named Bridget Onoyelu Mojisola. So today on the show, I have a public affairs analyst and a legal practitioner. I'll be looking at it from the public affairs perspective and also be looking at it from the legal aspect. I have joining me on the show this afternoon, very close to me, is Comrade Harrison Izeko. Good afternoon, Comrade. Good to have you again. Happy New Year. So this is the first time we'll actually see you on set. All right. My extreme end, I have Joshua Abolagba, Esquire, a legal practitioner. Good afternoon, Joshua.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to the show.
Yeah.
All right, let's set the show rolling. Now, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, as it is called. Today, we are now saying instead of alleviating poverty, someone is allegedly, still an allegation, though, proven by a competent court of jurisdiction that someone is enriching herself from that same ministry. Comrade, as a public affairs analyst, what's your take on this?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to wish every member of this organization Happy New Year.
Okay.
And to also acknowledge the demise of my own brother, my friend, Hilary. Okay. Dear sales. I know that Chameleon. He was a very good friend. May so rest in perfect peace. Amen. Such is life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't said that. I want to say that, you know, this country called Nigeria, it has become a theater whereby you see drama
movie
on daily basis. I'm surprised that with the level of poverty in this country, a country that borrow money to fund budget, country that borrow money to pay salary, after all this money have been borrowed, people will still have the mind telling us that money was transferred from one account to the other. That ministry, the reason for the creation of that ministry was to ameliorate the suffering of the common Nigerian.
That's true.
Is to solve problem. Different names have been given to the ministry, but today that ministry has become an avenue to siphon the resources of this country. We saw it in the previous administration, and the same APC administration, but in less than 6 or 7 months.
Less than 7 months.
You are seeing use some of amount of money being transferred to a private account of an individual within the same ministry. And I'm aware that that individual is also a public, a civil servant within that ministry.
Yes.
You see, my fear, people applaud Mr. President, he has suspended the woman, they needed to investigate. Yeah. The woman was invited to FCC for interrogation. With somebody that moved over half of $1 billion was released on bail that same day. So is that how we want to fight poverty? Mr. President, is he serious about the issue? Okay. Because every other person in this country, we know what is happening. was expecting that at least they should hold the woman back so that more information can come. After you say you are doing investigation, that same day, they release her on bail to go back so she can put other things in place and arrange the money so that at the end of the day.
It's an allegation.
It's an allegation, my brother. The investigation is ongoing, but I want to tell you, there is no seriousness about that investigation.
That's your personal.
It's my personal view.
Okay.
If the presidency were to be serious about it, then there are no reason to allow the minister to lead the SC custody on that same day.
But she actually have a right to defend herself. That was actually when
listen to me, my brother. It can only be a law. It can only be an offense that she's been detained more than 24 hours. And even in that case, she can be detained more than 24 hours because you needed to investigate what happened. Right. And that situation is not just a commoner. You are talking about 580 something million. Yeah. Transfer to a kind of it's not even a company, an individual
in the same
ministry, claiming to say that is the person that is supposed to be the vendor or whatever they call it to actually carry out the assignment. You find out that we are acting drama. We have a long way to go. For me, I cannot commend the presidency.
Okay.
Let me assure you, in another few days from now, this matter will be history. I also saw on social media today, and for one other reliable source, where the woman is already ranting that if she must go down, many other persons will go down.
Yeah, we'll get there.
To let you know that it's a syndicate,
it's a role,
it's a cartel.
We'll get there.
She's not the only person involved. No, it's just that mistakenly, this document came out
through her office.
Passed through her office, and it came out.
She being the number one in the ministry.
And the document was in the public domain through maybe one way or the other. So there were so many advocates, so many cry. So for them not to just look as if they are keeping quiet, they needed to just act and say, let's do some certain things. Okay. So for me, I'm ashamed, I'm in pain that the ministry that was set up to reach out to the common people in this country, and money are being voted in this ministry every year. Yeah. This is what they are doing with the money. It's just an avenue to, as soon as the money enters, they take it through the back door.
Let's not assume this is what they are doing.
No, it's very clear. The previous one is under investigation. The one I work on that Buhari. Then this one has started his own within 6 or 7 months. Okay. It's a shame.
Okay. Joshua Abolagba, you are a legal practitioner because everything still falls within the confine of allegation until proven by a court of competent jurisdiction. Even if they set up a panel cannot actually hold her and say you're guilty. It's still a court that we need to tell us that she is guilty. Yeah. Now, as a legal practitioner, as a lawyer, from the legal perspective, a ministry set up to alleviate poverty has now become something different from what the commoners expect. What's your take on that?
It's quite painful that that this kind of occurrence is happening, at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, exactly, at the beginning of the year.
The appointments were made and confirmed in August. And this is January.
Less than 7 months.
About roughly 5 to 6 months, and then these issues are coming up. It's quite pathetic. But at the end of the day, no matter how we want to, play a blind eye to what the president has done, but I believe that the president should be commended for suspending
her. For suspending her for investigation to continue.
Yes, because you cannot say someone is under investigation and then person
still holding office
and all this kind of
Absolutely.
Things. No. And then besides, some persons may say that why did the EFCC not detain her and those kind of things.
Just like comrades said.
Yeah, but you know that once somebody has made bail, then the law stipulates that person can go. Pending, they might just say, okay, don't travel out of the country, don't do those things.
The international passport.
Yes, if you have met
the bail conditions,
then there's no reason for them to hold you beyond that. Otherwise, that would be an infringement on your rights. And we should also remember that these are allegations. So till it is proven that she actually is guilty, then you cannot play the court. And besides, nobody can give that verdict except the court of competent jurisdiction, as you have rightly said. Okay. So the EFCC now is starting with that responsibility to investigate, and their findings, they will charge the matter to court if they have done their investigation, and then she herself, there's the doctrine of auditory patent.
Yeah, right to fair hearing.
Yes, so she herself will now come and tell us, did she actually transfer
the money or not?
585 million naira.
That's a huge sum.
That's a huge sum, and then the states that were even, and then for crying out loud, one of the states that ought to benefit from that money was even her state.
Her own state, which is Cross River.
Yes, Cross River. Yeah. Where she served under Professor Ben Ayade, the former governor, as the commissioner for health.
True.
So I just feel, it's quite painful that this kind of issue should even be coming up at this particular point in time, because we, as the young ones, had felt that BETTA Edu being one of the youngest.
She's the youngest in the cabinet.
Youngest
37.
ministers. Yes, one of the youngest. Have been from serving as a commissioner
commissioner
for
to
women,
minister.
then also to the women chairperson of the party, and then coming out to become the minister of humanitarian affairs and poverty alleviation, which is a ministry that, quote and unquote, a woman should be better
exactly
put, you know, to manage those kind of things, you know, because these are women, like they say, have the soft spots. You know, so okay, these are people that are suffering and this kind of thing. So coming out now to see these kind of issues flying up and down, and then this financial misappropriation, you know, allegations against her is quite painful. But at the end of the day, one thing that we need to know is that we have to allow justice to run its course, and that is the EFCC to conduct their own investigation, and then when they find out, whatever they find out, then from there we can now know what will happen next. But we cannot judge for now, because it's still an allegation.
Because I know you always talk from the legal point of view,
yes,
because it's still an allegation until proven.
Yes.
Now let's go back. Let me draw attention back now to the previous minister.
Yes.
Because, comrade, the former minister, which was Umar Sadiq, is still being investigated for the sum of 44 billion naira in the same ministry. So are we now saying that ministry over time has now become a ministry which is supposedly, because when you say Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs,
yes,
it's supposed to be a ministry that meets the needs of the people, the growing needs of those on the street.
Yes.
Now, we have so many schemes tied to that ministry. The Empower is one of those schemes. Yes. Now, those guys are being owed for the past 9 months. Those on the Empower scheme, the batch C per se. I have friends who are under the scheme. Sometimes they will call you, "What's how for finding something," you know. And someone is embezzling, allegedly anyway, because we can't say the person has really embezzled, allegedly embezzled the sum of money meant for the betterment of the life of the youth. If we now trace it from the former minister now to this now minister, comrade, do you think that ministry should still remain?
Well, in as far as I'm concerned, it's supposed to be the most important ministry right now in as far as Nigeria is concerned.
Yeah.
Because today in this country, people cannot eat. Nigerians are dying. There's insecurity everywhere. People are living using their salary to buy fuel. You buy fuel on a daily basis. Your salary cannot even do anything for you. And a ministry was created to ameliorate the suffering of Nigerians. But some group of persons who, in their own interest, have decided to use that ministry to siphon the resources of this country. And I want to make it clear to you that they know what they are doing. Okay. That ministry has become, because it's going to be a little bit difficult. Most times when they say that they have spent those resources, they will tell you either they have given out palliative, they have sent money, so that most times there will not be so much traced. Yeah. And that's why I say that so much money is being earmarked to that ministry, and some persons are just pushing it in the other way around. I wish they will be sincere enough. At least they have conscience to also at least use this part of this money to actually carry out the assignment that was supposed to be carried out. But the reverse is no. Can you imagine with the Empire, they have not been paid for 9 months? Yeah. And money is in that ministry. We are seeing how money was being moved from different accounts, shared to different group of persons. Like I told you, it's a cartel.
Some bank's MD was
they'll be all involved. Yes, they have to be involved, because if you are going to be moving 500 million, the bank that is also in charge will also tell you how far. Yeah. And you also need to get some level of cooperation, because there are some levels of amount of money you can move from that bank for you to be able to do what you need to do with collaboration. I think that Mr. President, if he really wants to actually get to the root of this matter, if he's genuine about it, he should allow the FCC to do this work, and they should do it thoroughly. The former minister is still under investigation. For how long?
44 billion.
Are you telling me that?
End of the tenure of.
Are you telling me that it will take them 1 year to just trace money to different accounts? No. But when they were going to trace the man that they were fighting, the central bank manager,
governor,
it didn't take them many months. They brought experts. They told you this is where the market money and all that. But the one who actually have eaten from the poor, because as far as I'm concerned, the money meant for that ministry is to reach out to the poorest of the poor, and they are eating costs. They are telling you they are still under investigation. This case of Edu is going to be the same thing.
You can't.
It's my own perspective, my personal opinion. It's my personal opinion. The reason why I'm saying it, I cannot imagine in this country called Nigeria, even in Benin here, ordinary case of two fighting. If you go to the station, we know what the Nigerian police does. Okay. We know what the FCC have been doing to other persons. Talk about somebody that transferred money, even if the matter you need to investigate, but it was clear that money was moved from a government account to a private account,
and the name was actually stipulated.
And the name of the person was stipulated. Yeah. And the money we are talking about is a huge sum of money. 585 million is not a child's play. And the FCC invited that woman, and maybe probably got that about 12. And around 8 or 7 o'clock, they say, you can go, take a bar and go. And many things have gone through the back door.
That's not the Senate.
That is my opinion. It's my opinion.
Yeah, it's your personal opinion.
And the woman left.
Okay.
Whether the woman is in the ministry or not, I'm telling you, most of the fights in the open have been taken care of. I'm a Nigerian. I have been in the system and I'm in the system. I know what Nigerian conventional politician does. You allow the woman to go so that you can go and put everything in place. Those who are involved, I said, calling and not call my name, do one like this, do one like this, do one like this. Let us begin to work. I pray the next time we have opportunity to come here, we will see the outcome of this issue.
All right.
But seriously, to tell Mr. President that if they continue to do things this way, we are not going to get results. I am not expecting anything different from this government. I begin to lose hope. Because when this started, I said, let us give it some time. We will see something different. But there's something different. It is the same people, the same style of administration, the same style of leadership. Even the zone now is going to be worse. Because they tell them they are trying to not make this state, this country, a one-party system, whereby intimidation is everywhere. They have time to go and be calling for Bada to go and hold meeting. And when serious issues like this are on ground,
that's also
heads are not rolling. So
in Rivers, that's also an issue.
That's what I'm telling you. That Mr. President will have all the time to call the governor of Rivers State when he's a member of his party. Okay. What is he settling? When there are issues to talk about, when somebody in his cabinet is looting money on daily basis, is that the issue we have right now?
Comrade, the president.
The issue of Rivers State should be left for Rivers State to handle.
Comrade, the president is the #1 citizen.
That is why it's misplaced priority.
If there is any problem in any state, if there's any political
the constitution does not allow him. Sorry, sir. The constitution does not allow him.
Well, he's the father of the nation.
He's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay. The governor of Rivers State is the governor of the state, is the commander-in-chief of the state. Okay. Whatever happens is a political issue. So if the president has no business in what is happening there,
that's already
it can only just advise. Okay. Why am I bringing it in? Mr. President will have time to begin to sit down and settle political issues because that is his interest. When somebody under his nose have taken money within the trickle of, I'm not even aware, maybe if the person, the other lady, the money was have been arrested. But let us wait and see what is going to happen.
According to them, for me, that the woman is also under investigation.
For me,
she is a top official in the ministry.
No problem. You will see the outcome.
Okay.
Because the way it's going now, so many people are involved. I do not think that lady will have the effrontery, the strength to move that kind of money if she's not getting directed.
The minister actually said, if she starts opening up,
she will need to. That is why the matter is going to die in national debt.
The chain is very long.
That is why the matter will die in national debt.
We hope she opens up.
Because the issue is this: the woman on her own, with her age, with her experience, where she's coming from, will not have the guts to move that kind of amount of money to a private account. If somebody at the back that is beating the drum is not saying do it this way, we just hope to leave the investigation. Let them come up with the investigation and see. Right. Let us see there will be difference.
Okay, Joshua. Yes. Now, like I said, like I asked him earlier, the ministry that was meant to alleviate poverty is now purportedly being a ministry where fraud, per se, in quotes, because it has not been proven yet, is now going on. The other agencies under the ministry, like the Empire, I know of the Empire because I have people who are under the scheme. Some of these guys goes to work, they go to their place of primary assignment where they get deployed to another. 9 good months. Not like the money is really in quotes too big, 30,000 monthly. But under the watch of same ministry, funds are being diverted. In your own opinion, do you think this ministry should still remain or should be scrapped? Because we never had a ministry of humanitarian affairs before now. It was former Muhammadu Buhari's administration that created the ministry due to the whole insurgency in the north and all that. So they created the ministry and they added some agencies under them to meet the needs of the youth and the less privileged in the society. If a ministry like this now, that is supposed to, is now involved in cases like this, should we still have such ministry standing in Abuja?
Yeah, you know, there's one thing that we should always take into cognizance, is that the fact that whereby the child is in the dirty water, and you want to throw away the water, you don't throw away the water with the child.
Okay.
And taking that into cognizance, then you have to now relate back to what we're having currently. It's just like saying, for example, if there's financial misappropriation, or with regards to during COVID, and then we had the issues of many persons now coming to know about the Ministry of Health. Initially, most persons even didn't have idea about the Ministry of Health, or what the ministry was about, or who the minister was at that time. Yes. But during that period of when we had the crisis, the COVID-19 crisis, that was when we now knew about the ministry and what it's supposed to do and what it entails. So coming back to, now relaying it back to the humanitarian ministry, and poverty alleviation, in this situation where we are in, we're in a dire need of a quick fix with regards to poverty in the nation. And so if you say you want to scrap that ministry, I don't think it will go well for the poorest of the poor. But then again, it all boils down to adequate supervision, and then we as Nigerians being true to ourselves. And what is even more painful is that the fact that if it was a ministry that was headed by quote and unquote
a man, our gender,
and then maybe an elderly person, for example, a 65-year-old person or 70, will say these people have come again.
They've come again with their mentality.
Yes, you to say, okay, these old people have come again.
But this is us. This is youth.
So this thing is so painful, because
very, very
how do you not tell tomorrow now? How do you not tell Mr. President that the youth
are ready for position of leadership?
Kind of things. And Mr. President has quite a number of young persons who are below the age of
25, working for him and working with him in the cabinet.
That are ministers, that are directors, and then
special advisors, name them.
Kind of things. These are young, vibrant personalities. So you cannot judge everyone who the president has appointed.
Okay.
With EDU'S,
SAGA.
Yes, SAGA. And besides, when she was the commissioner for health in her state, she did quite well. So I don't know what happened.
What happened?
And so it's still an allegation. But I just believe that I must commend the president for what he has done, no matter how I want to look at it. And I believe that, we have always been saying that the president should hit the ground running. And so I believe that this one that he has done with other things that have also come up, he has...
It's part of hitting the ground running.
Shaking the political space a bit. And so I believe that there will be more to come. There will be more to come. So this should tell public office holders that they are not, the all in all. They are checks and balances. And then the Financial Regulation Act, and then all this kind of thing talks about the fact that you should not transfer public funds to private accounts, private funds to public accounts. It's expressly stated out, 2009 Act. So no matter how Dr. BETTA wants to say that she has the clearance of...
He said they have the clearance of the Accountant General of the Federation.
You don't get a clearance from anybody to do anything that is not in line with the Constitution or with the laws of the land, no matter who the person is. You understand? So in a situation whereby persons believe that they are above the law, these are the kind of things that we see. Nobody is above the law. So whereby the law has expressly stated that such and such should not be done. When that is done, then you see there are even more issues that will now come up. Because first of all, when the EFCC now takes the matter to court finally, we'll talk about the fact that you gave an instruction that they should transfer this huge sum of money to a private account from a public account. And then the money was not used for the correct thing.
Exactly.
And then there are other things, other financial propriety and other things that are coming up. So these are the issues that we face. And it is quite saddening, because this is the 21st century where information is everywhere. So for someone to still be able to do this kind of thing now, it shows that Nigeria is, taking a step backwards. And it's quite painful, because every time we come here and we speak about all these things, and it seems it gets worse by the day.
On daily basis.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So it's quite painful that within 6 months or 5 months of being a minister in a ministry that, should be wonderful. And I know Mr. President was not too, happy with the appointment initially.
With the youth.
Yes. And then, she had some issues during the clearance and all those kind of things. And now coming out, so it's just like as if she's just embattled. Why? You understand? So I believe that she should get her house in order. At least let's see what the EFCC will come up with,
Okay.
their findings, or what they'll come up with, and then after everything, let's see if she would be convicted or she would be acquitted. So whatever happens,
comrade.
whatever happens, then we can now discuss further issues.
Okay, now, comrade, like we said earlier, the minister has been suspended. She wasn't just suspended alone. Her pass to the villa was actually retrieved. She can't go to the villa anymore. She can't see the president as it stands, pending when that investigation has been concluded. Now, we now have the ministry being run by the permanent secretary of that ministry. So the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, as we speak now, don't have a minister because she has been suspended. Because he was talking, you were kind of shaking your head because I understand the point of view that you're trying to come from. Now, the suspension, and not just suspension alone, her being stopped from seeing the president, don't you think that's a good step and a right step in the right direction by the presidency?
Well, they just wanted the newspaper to say so that
you may think
it's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I know you may.
They just want the headline to look very, very real.
Okay.
The following morning. Let me tell you, my brother, the permanent secretary is in the office.
Yeah.
In every of those ministry, the permanent secretary is the signatory.
Okay.
He work with the ministry.
True.
So there's no way money will be moved from that ministry and the permanent secretary will not be involved. Who are we deceiving? This issue is a planned issue. Those who are involved, they know themselves. But because the information was already in the public domain, the only way it can look as if action had been taken, the woman had to be suspended.
Okay.
If you suspend this woman as we speak, that the woman is still with the EFCC, she does not have access to move and make calls and put some things in place, I will be satisfied. Somebody moved, you put alleged that somebody transferred 585 million to a private account, and the person was invited to EFCC. The person was released on bail that same day. The person made the bail condition. The Nigeria that we know, that means the person is in the good book of those who own the country. Because if not, there is no way that woman and another woman will meet the bail condition. Okay. If it's on the other side. Okay. So what we are appealing for is that this present administration, they should be sincere. Okay. They must realize one fact, that Nigerians are suffering. That we cannot continue to see this kind of drama.
Okay, let's just go on a short break. Just a short break. After the break, we'll continue with the discussion segment. All right, it's the business this week where we take a look at economic activities that shape our world. And on today's edition of the show, we've been looking at the whole BETTA EDU'S saga, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, how allegedly the sum of 585 million naira was moved from the ministry to a private account. And I still have my guest seated, Comrade Harrison Izeko, and a public affairs analyst, and Joshua Abolagba, a legal practitioner. Now, Comrade, you were saying something before we went on the break. Because if you now look, basically, that ministry, there are a lot of businesses that are tied to the ministry. How can now this whole thing, because there are some grants that are supposed to be going out to traders on the street. There are some grants that are supposed to be going out to entrepreneurs on the street. And this sum of money that are supposed to be meant for these things allegedly has been taken by one single individual. What will now be the rippled effect on small-scale businesses? The person, the trader on the market who wanted to collect a grant, say maybe from BOI, Bank of Industry, or Bank of Agriculture, to run a business, and they tell you, okay, the money is coming from Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Now, the ministry that is saddled with the responsibility, we can't find our money. Because it's the taxpayers' money, actually. It's not an individual's
at
money.
all.
So, you on your own now, how do you think this will narrow down to small-scale businesses and hamper and increase the poverty we are supposed to be alleviating the more?
That is what we are seeing right now. It's poverty. The economy is going down on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Supposing this money is in circulation,
okay,
different segments of the economy will be affected.
Absolutely.
those are the downtrodden, those are the very local level who are into small scale business, who are supposed to benefit from this money, who are supposed to benefit from the trader money. You can remember that for over 2 years now. That program is also part of this same ministry.
It's part of the same ministry.
These are the same money these people have moved to a different account. So the small scale industry is suffering.
Okay.
Today you don't have lights to power those business. The people who were supposed to buy and sell, they have been working on daily basis because resources are not there. And the ministry that is self responsibility to actually support this small scale business, support the poorest of the poor, to ensure that our economy will begin to grow from the bottom, is moving the money to a private account. I don't know what they're going to do with the money. So I think that if this president administration must write their name in gold, must serve people of this country, we must go back to the very lower level, the small scale business. We must allow this ministry to reach out to the common man in the street. The process of selection, those who need to get this money, those who are already in business. I did one program some few weeks ago. I empowered some few women who are already doing business because I believe in sustainability.
The main people doing business, not ghost business people.
People are already doing small scale. I go to the place.
Yeah.
If I employ, for example, you are selling pure water, and I say, okay, I want to give you this 20,000 naira to add to your business, you will see the effect. You understand? Yeah. So these are the kind of people that are supposed to benefit from this exercise. Tomorrow, don't be surprised that by the time they finish their investigation, they will tell you how this money was allocated to the poorest of the poor. The ghost poorest of the poor. That is the Nigeria system for you. They will tell you that this money has been disbursed. But we can't continue this way. Okay. Our economy is suffering. People cannot eat. Nigerians are dying on daily basis. I was with one of my friends first that said, if some of us that even have job that we are doing, we are complaining like this. What about that person that don't do anything? I know the man that he does not have a job, the one that the children are there.
If a gold rust, what will iron do?
So how do we move out from this place? Okay. What do we need to do? The president must take a step further than just suspending the minister. Okay. This investigation must be out within the next 2 weeks. I want to know who gave the instruction. Where is the money if it's still there?
If it's still there.
Where is the account the money was transferred to? Who asked them to transfer? What was the role of the permanent secretary? Who is there now preparing the paper, arranging everything, analyzing everything so that when they finally get to court, they present the paper? Then the same Nigerian story I wait for this country. So every young person who are watching us this afternoon will begin to think this woman is just 37 years old. We can as well say is a youth.
Not we can as well
say is a youth. But the Nigerian system is a youth.
Nigerian system, she's still a youth.
For me, it's not a gender issue. It's not because she's a female. The issue is that
I wanted to go there.
No. I am a strong advocate for women. Yeah. That the women will do better when they are given opportunity. But I want to tell you today that this woman will not act on her own instruction. Okay. Because of the Nigerian system of governance. There is no way the ministry will just move 580 something million when there is no instruction. Even for the presidency we are talking about, we know the system.
But the presidency said your hands.
We will soon get there. We will soon get there. By the time this investigation do not go beyond this stage, then you now know that people are involved. Okay. For example, as a local government chairman, there's a particular amount of money you can approve. Okay. There's a particular amount of money a minister can approve. Okay. It must get directive from the presidency. That is the system. Okay. So when the time comes, if you will be bold enough to open up to Nigeria and explain those who are behind this transaction. I know that what I read this morning, I saw the chief of staff who is very mighty right now, who is so powerful with the government. I also saw the name there. So I'm not expecting anything different from the investigation. Okay. If you have been investigating the predecessor, up to now, no direction. Money was not. Where is the money?
But investigation is not something you do in a hurry, you know.
My brother, if they are ready to do the right thing, those things, the banks is within this country. It won't take them 1 month. But because the people who are involved, a issue because the government was against him, you know what happened? Okay. You saw how the way they hurry to do everything. Even when he was granted bail, they refused to allow him to go. So they will not have time to go and put this in place. He was investigated. Okay. But this one now, you invited him for interrogation. You allow him to go that same day. Okay. Is it supposed to be so? All right. Even if we have a lawyer, he said that.
Yeah, that's why he's seated.
Yes, that is.
We take it from the legal
perspective. In this country, Nigeria, every other money that they have been moved, who told you that they are not be moved to a private account? Okay. Don't they know that the law is there? All right. It was when the government is against you, they will produce the law in order to persecute you. Okay. But if all of you are singing Hosanna, Hosanna, the law is bullshit to them.
Okay. Okay. Sincere apologies for that word because
no, to them, to them.
Okay. Now, Joshua, like I said, you are from the legal perspective, and we have to look at this critically. But we won't take away the whole concept of this sum of money. Like I asked Comrade earlier, this money was meant for the part of the money is actually meant for the empowerment of
majority of the money,
small scale businesses. You can't tell me now that in your street there are no small scale business. People do small businesses, and these are the money. We remember during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, we saw the Vice President then visiting states, sharing the whole trader money. Despite some persons actually still said they hijacked it, because there is nothing you will do in this country that people will not perceived will not be hijacked.
At least we saw.
Okay. At least you saw that.
Saw the video that money was being distributed.
Fine. Now, Joshua, this has happened, and definitely is going to hamper a lot of businesses to an extent. Yeah. That's from the legal, from your own legal point of view. Do you actually think that her suspension was too in a hurry, or the suspension was actually right? That's one. Then two, Hill has been saying they invited her that same day and they granted her bail that same day. By law, is it ought to be?
Okay, tackling the first.
You also tell us the bail condition.
You see, explain the bail condition that made her leave.
That she met that same hour.
Tackling the first bit of the question. Yeah. The thing is that, it's definitely, it's going to hamper a lot of businesses. Hamper the growth, the growth
of businesses,
and success of businesses, because that ministry was saddled with the responsibility of alleviating the poverty. So, and then now that they have the issue now, and then that ministry, quote unquote, has been grounded.
Yeah, exactly.
So those kind of funds will not be
released anymore.
Yeah, anymore.
But for the meantime.
Yes, for the meantime. But then again, you should know that Nigeria is a very funny country, because from where I heard now, the Empower scheme.
The Empower scheme.
For 9 months.
They've not been paid. Is this the 10th month now? This January.
So how have they been
surviving?
So you see that Nigeria is a country whereby we survive on our own. And it's not supposed to be so.
Self-survival.
Yes, everybody's on self-survival mode, and now it has gotten, it has gotten terrible again, far more than how it was before. And then I just believe that at the end of the day, I think Mr. President has come out now to take action.
Yeah.
And I believe that since that he has seen that there are some of these persons in his cabinet who are not doing the right thing, so he should be able to take actions to juggle the whole administration, the whole cabinet, and then remove those who he believes are not doing well, and then bring in those who can do well. Okay, that's one. Then two, with the aspect of meeting the bail conditions and those kind of things. These are conditions. These conditions are either they are met or they are not met. And when they say bail condition has been met for your release from that detention, you understand? Yeah. You have not been charged to court, so they can as well tell you, okay, you can go freshen up. But anytime we need you,
be available.
Invite you, you'll be available. You are not allowed to travel. So it depends on the conditions that were stipulated. They're stipulated. Okay. You have shorties in this kind of some kind of things. Then person must be level something officer
in the federal civil service.
So somebody who has served as commissioner before, who is quote unquote minister. Yes, material affairs. That should be an easy thing to get. So we cannot question that where she gets it from or anything. The law states that once you have met the bail condition, you can be set free. Because if you have met the bail condition and then you are still being held against your will, then you can file, for breach of fundamental human rights. Okay. So those are other things
these are some of the issues that come up.
So the government also will want to tread with caution, so that they don't bring up,
not to progress in error.
Yes, they don't bring up more issues out of something that they can easily tackle. The woman is not running anywhere. Yeah. They have told her, don't leave the country, don't leave. Maybe they will tell her, don't leave the state, or don't do this, don't do that, don't go back to the office. And then they withdrew her
passport.
Yes, passport.
International
And then
passport,
also her tag
Her
to
tag,
go
yeah,
into
yeah, her pass to the villa.
The pass to the villa. So these are things that will now reduce her visibility and reduce the way she can connect with persons.
People.
Yes. So these are things that will be done, rather have been done. So in Nigeria, that is how it operates, and the laws are there to back that mode of operation.
Okay.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, is saddled with the responsibility of, looking into financial impropriety, both by government parastatals, government officials, and individuals. Yes, that is their own. They are saddled with that responsibility.
Okay.
The police also can do that. They have their own section in the police that also does that.
Okay.
But the EFCC is saddled with that, basically. So you can see that, merging those 2 points together, you can see that, first of all, if she had met the bail conditions, then she will be set free. But that doesn't mean she's discharged and acquitted. It's only a court that can
do that.
Yes. So she has not been charged to court.
Yes, she's not in the court yet. She
was
just suspended for investigation to start.
Yes. So when the investigation will be carried out, whatever they find out, they cannot take. Whatever they find out, the president cannot take an action on that. And then after that, that's the civil aspect.
Okay, the civil aspect. Okay.
And after that, she cannot be charged to court for the criminal aspect.
Okay.
So there are 2 ambits to it.
Okay, so there are 2 ambits
Yes,
in the part of the law.
In your office,
okay,
you did not do the right thing as an appointee of the government. So you're suspended and then you're dismissed. That's one aspect. That is civil aspect. Criminal aspect, you stole. So we're not going to face the criminal aspect. Okay. So at the end of the day, the court would now have their duty of, dislodging both the civil and criminal aspect of the matter. But I believe that at the end of the day, it's quite painful because, persons are suffering.
Exactly. A lot of persons are suffering.
And I remember, last year when I was here, we talked about the fact that, when the president brought out his agenda, and we talked about bringing buses, bringing grains, bringing all those kind of things.
For the fuel subsidy, palliative and all that.
Yes, we were happy that things would look good, things were looking good, things would become better.
Yeah.
But it now seems that those working with the president are not willing to do the work. And then again, these are issues that
let's just say maybe some persons.
Yes, some persons working with the president now are now bringing up all these kind of things to slow down the governance again. Because by the time the president is spending time looking at this matter,
exactly,
he will not have time to do the right
concentrate
thing,
on national issues.
Governance. And so that's the most important thing why we voted the president into power.
And he appointed
some of them. He appointed the ministers. You understand?
And the appointment was actually based on trust.
Yes. These are members of the Federal Executive Council. You just imagine, they have the pass to the villa. You know what that means?
Direct
pass to the president. I want to see the president. Who? Minister of this ministry. Once.
You go.
So, and then you are not abusing that privilege. Out of everybody in the state, out of everybody in Cross River, they picked you to become a minister, and then you are doing this.
Okay.
So it's not fair. It's not fair. But I believe that we should allow the interrogation and everything and the whole thing to be done properly. And then when the verdict comes out, then we'll not see how it is. Then take it up from there.
Okay. Now, before we wrap up, because we have less than 5 minutes to wrap up the show, comrade, your view on this. Do you think, lastly, that this is going to pan out well, or it's still going to be the normal, how it has been cases? Because a lot of persons from different angles are saying, what is it called? Patricia Ete, former speaker, did it. Nothing happened to her. Former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dizani Madegi, nothing happened to her. Now this is because people are saying it on the street. The layman is saying, nothing will happen, nothing will happen. In your own view, do you actually think it's still going to be the same way, or there's going to be a total difference from what has happened before in terms of financial misappropriation of funds in the ministry?
What is going to be different? Well, for me, I want to sympathize with BETTA EDU. She's the scapegoat right now. So I sympathize with her. It's unfortunate that her own leaked out.
Okay.
And she's the one everybody is seeing.
Just looking, right?
But let me tell you, nothing will come out of this issue.
Your personal opinion?
It's my personal opinion. The reason being that the woman, the very day she was suspended, invited to the EFCC. When we were told that she met her bail condition, we went home that same day. The condition of the bail was not made public.
But they can't make it public because it's called investigation.
The bail condition was not made public that she met.
Okay.
As at the time they didn't tell her when they finished the interrogation that they released her on bail. In that same minute, she made the bail condition and she went home to go and relax herself and begin to do the other planning to make sure that the matter will not go beyond that. You will soon see you do the other planning. Okay. So it's not going to be different from what we have been saying.
Okay.
Buhari suspended his former LGF.
SGF.
Did he not suspend him?
Yeah.
What was he persecuted?
That's Buhari's
So
administration.
it is the same APC government.
But different
it is different
individuals,
style. Tinubu have not been able to show to Nigerians that there is a difference between the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari from what he's doing. There's no difference.
Your thoughts.
It's still the same luxury appointment.
Your thoughts.
That is the truth.
Okay.
The other one, they said they've cut down the numbers of vehicles.
Yeah.
How many vehicles has he been using?
Done.
You must tell us a number.
Okay.
Once upon a time, we're using 50 vehicles. I'll reduce it to 20. Okay. We know that you have done something. Not just making a statement so that newspaper will sell on that day and business as usual. Okay. Nothing will come out of this. But what they need to learn is this. Nigerians are watching. Those people that our resources are being meant for, that are suffering right now, that cannot eat, that their businesses are dying. Yeah. One would have expected that if this money go around those 3 or 4 states, the economy will begin to boost. Okay. People will buy and sell. And when there is exchange of money, the economy will begin to grow. Okay. But in Nigerian case, our GDP grows in Abuja. Our economy grows in Abuja. You cannot reflect on the common man life on the street of Nigerians. Okay. The issue of the subsidy is there. Palliative is going to come. It's all news. We are going to bring buses. Then by December, they said they've cut down transportation by 50%. What kind of arrangement is this? So there is nothing different from the previous administration. Until and unless Mr. President decide to do things differently, that's when you get a different result. Right. Because this attitude is the same way we have been doing it. You can't continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. It doesn't work that way. Right. We want to see the economic blueprint. Okay. We want to see what he wants to do differently. Okay. Yes, the woman has been suspended. I expect by this week now, we are seeing that we have gotten to this stage and this stage, and want to continue the investigation from there.
All right, Joshua, your last word, or rather your last take, it's not your last word on this issue. Do you think this is still going to be same as usual, or we're going to have a headway to this before we wrap up?
I just want to speak from a positive point of view, and I believe that we should have, a headway, in this matter, because I believe Mr. President has taken up the matter personally. And that was why he effected the suspension immediately. First. So, and flowing from his antecedents as governor of Lagos State, if you don't work well, fire you straight. So I believe that he's going to bring that same mantra to the presidency and then do the right thing. So we just hope that Mr. President to do the right thing. But then again, we have to wait for the investigation to be concluded
before
we can
we are waiting.
Okay.
We're waiting for the vote.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Comrade Ezeko, for joining me on the show this afternoon. Thank you very much, Joshua Abolagba, for joining me on the show this afternoon. That's the size of our package on the show Business this week. We hope and pray that the investigation will be carried out. And at the end of the day, we're going to see a headway, because 585 million naira is actually a huge sum of money. I am Lawrence Osifo saying see you again. Bye for now.